Okay, good afternoon, y'all. This is the man in the black mask, and I'm here to read and present this story that I lost so much, police corruption, And I'm sure a lot of us have our reasons for not wanting to trust cops, okay? And I know I got my excuses for not giving a fuck about the police. Anyway, I'm here to talk to you about Christopher Walls, this New Jersey cop that was busted for running a meth lab out of his home. You believe that? You got Tony Montana or Nino Brown for a cop. See this guy right here? See this piece of shit right here? Now, he is a bad example of a police officer, okay? He gives the New Jersey Police Department a bad name, the NJPD, okay? Breaking Bad, New Jersey style. A Garden State cop was busted Sunday for running a meth lab out of his house, prosecutors announced Sunday. Dickhead, Christopher Walls, 50, a longtime member of the Long Branch Police Department, was arrested after his co-workers were called to his house Saturday night because of a domestic disturbance, the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office said. Someone in the house tipped off cops, you know, to Walter's, wait, someone in the house tipped off cops to the cops' Walter White-like activity and found the ingredients and equipment for making meth in the basement and a shed. A statement from the prosecutor said. Walls have books related to making meth, explosives, and poison, the release said. The officer was a 19-year veteran of the Long Branch Department. Police also found a stash of 6 guns, high-capacity magazines, and ammo in an unsecured safe that could have been accessed by a child living in the house. Son of a bitch! Local police worked with state police in the investigation. The prosecutor's statement said, it is particularly distressing that this hazard was caused by a sworn law enforcement officer, the prosecutor Christopher Grimicioni said in a statement. Man. Walls is facing 6 charges related to the meth production, as well as second-degree child endangerment charge and a firearm possession during a controlled dangerous substance offense. Wow. Like I said, man, he tried to be Nino Brown, if not Frank White or Nino Brown. You know? Or should I say Tony Montana? Yeah, Tony Montana. I was meaning to say Tony Montana. Because Tony Montana is played by Al Pacino in Scarface. Christopher Walls faces a maximum of 60 years behind bars if convicted of all the charges. Walls is being held in Monmouth County Correctional Institution pending a hearing. Information for his attorney wasn't available Sunday. Now, Mr. Walls gave the NJPD a bad name, as I stated earlier, okay? He is the walking example of a dirty cop because he'd rather sell drugs than, serve the environment, protect and serve. He's doing the exact opposite. He's participating in the same shit that he's supposed to fight. Instead of becoming a cop, he chose to become a crook. And his job was to bust crooks and put them in jail. Instead, he chose to become one. And now he's probably going to spend like 6 decades of his life in a cage, a federal one, because this is a federal offense. All drug charges are federal offense. Drug charges of this magnitude, especially when you got a weapon in place, because turns out this motherfucker neglected to lock his shit in the safe. And there was a child in the house. And if he or she had got to it, it would have been some shit, especially if the child would have played with the gun, right? And blow himself away, then that cop could be charged with murder or manslaughter based on that alone. In addition to child abuse and child neglect, because he failed to lock up his weapon. And he allowed his kid to stupidly have access to it and do God knows what with it. So that would have been on his head, but luckily he didn't get that far. I just hope his kid isn't in state custody, because some of them will not make it in state custody. Some will, some won't. But I sure hope that kid is with his mother, and that mother got a restraining order against that piece of shit. I would hope so too, because that man put his own kid's life in danger. And I'm glad that his girlfriend or wife or whoever, tipped him off to the cops over his illegal activities. I sure hope that the argument was over his illegal operations. You know, I sure hope that was the case. She'd make a good witness in court. You dig? But don't be surprised if Mr. Walls were to plead guilty and get less time, which is probably what's going to happen anyway. Because let me tell you something. When the prosecutors get you for some big shit, they set it up for you to plead down to the smaller shit in exchange for less time. You know? Maybe like 50% of it, whatever. A discount prison sentence. So he's probably desperate for a plea deal right now because he knows he can't do 6 decades. So he's either going to cop out or, name his suppliers or whatever the fuck. Trust me, a whole bunch of shit is going to happen. And he's going to try to get into witness protection, if anything. Just like Gravano did. When he testified against John Gotti and put his ass in jail for the rest of his life. You ought to think about that. Gotti died in prison on account of Gravano. And Mr. Christopher Walls, this dirty New Jersey cop, he's going to do everything he can to save his own ass, okay? He's going to try to plead his way out of a 60-year to life prison sentence. You know that, and I know that. So, fuck him and the NJPD. In the meantime, thank you for listening to the Man in the Black Mask. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a question underneath the screen and tell me what you think about this bizarre incident in question. Because there's a lot of bad cops out there. And I love covering stories of cops that do bad shit. Because I have a very fucked up history with the police, starting from when I was a kid. So I don't trust neither one of them son of a bitches. But I wouldn't preach violence against them, though, just because I don't give two shits about them. That's not me. It's not in my nature. Again, like, subscribe, question underneath the screen. You got a story about police brutality or whatever? Share it. Talk about it underneath the screen. Any questions, ask me, and I'll answer if I have one. So, thank you for your service.